Hello Steelers, and welcome to another, I should really call these Paint, Post and Play, really, shouldn't I? That's a much better name than the Bench Report Hobby Update, but another Bench Report Hobby Update is here. So another week has passed, and obviously I've been doing a little bit more painting as well. Also quite a few things in the post as well. We'll go through all that stuff. A lot of it, you may not be surprised, but a lot of it is kind of centered around the Far East at the moment. And that was starting with the Hong Kong Volunteer Defence Corps armoured cars. I'd got these from Paul over at Sabotaged. He'd actually made them up for Rich of Two Fat Lardies quite a while ago. I think Richard had them in 28mm. They'd looked at lots of pictures. They'd found some of the best ones they could, and they're about 99% accurate, just because they couldn't find photos of the rear or something like that. But these are lovely. I got two of them. I thought two's enough. You probably don't need more than that. I want to use them in a game at some point to show off some of the new Far East handbook rules, at least. So that's going to come. I'll be recording that over this weekend for a release at some point in the future. So keep an eye out for that. Speaking of the Far East, as I say, it's going to be very Far East heavy. This, well, there's a few other bits and pieces. Japanese Hago Type 95 tanks. Richard Hogg sent these to me ages and ages and ages ago. I just never got round to painting them. So what I thought I'd actually experiment with these and make a very quick short video on painting them, just showing basically the steps of painting them. It's actually done really well. I think it was the second highest short video I put out since I've been doing shorts. So thanks for watching that, and thanks again to Richard for sending these over. Lovely little tanks, lovely prints, 3D printed ones, so they will be put to good use in the jungles of Malaya, I'm sure of it. The other thing as well, slight departure this time from the Far East, is this Arnhem house, or a Dutch house. This was sent to me by Paul a couple of weeks ago. You may remember from last week. I mentioned these. He'd sent me a bunch of them. They're still in boxes down there, but I'm working my way through them slowly, with the fences that he also sent as well. This is one of them. I just thought I'd do this quickly. Very nice, really nice model again. This is a 15mm one. He does them in 28mm, I think. Go and check out the Sabotage website. I'll put a link down below in the description, so you can go and check them out. Really, really good service. I've just got to say, you know, he provides incredibly good service. You buy something and it's usually at your door within the next at most 3 days. He just turns. I don't know how he's able to turn things out as quick as he does, but he does. So well worth using. The other thing as well I painted was 8 figures should I say, of VC Viet Cong local forces. These are from Battlefront. Currently I've been kind of playing about with Vietnamese stuff. I got the 3D breed things. But I decided after much deliberation that I would actually go back to metal figures, and I've decided to go back to Peter Pig and also Battlefront as well. I haven't got any. I got the Peter Pig ones a while ago, and in the post I bought myself the VC local forces. Battlefront now sends stuff in these kind of boxes, so they don't come in those, or at least their mail order send them in these kind of boxes. So this is a local forces infantry company. As I say, I started painting them earlier this week. They're very easy to paint. I mean, it's black and not much else. I've bagged up the other ones as I've put them as individual figures, and also as 2s, and there's 3s as well, which are on the painting desk at the moment. I'm currently selling the 3D breed stuff that I did have, that I bought from eBay. It's fully painted. It's over on eBay. Again, I'll put a link down in the description down below if you want to go and have a look. It's on an auction. By the time this video comes out, I think there's a day left on it. So if you want to bid on that, please, go and check it out. I'm also over the next few weeks, I'm going to be selling my Wings of Glory collection as well over on eBay. So just keep an eye on my eBay as well. There's 3 on there. Again, they will be ending tomorrow. So go and check those out. So yeah, so I mean, it's not just me Far East, like I say, it's a little bit of Vietnam. So I'm going to try and chip away with these. I've ordered some more US stuff from Battlefront. I really like their figures. They're really nice. They look, when you get them, they look awful because they're just really obviously clipped off their, their moulding castings and things. But once they clean up and they're on bases and they're painted, they actually are very nice figures. And as I say, they fit in very well with Peter Pig. So I'm going to be able to mix up Peter Pig with quite easily and just have quite a nice stretch of stuff. And I'm waiting for the US forces. I just bought some of those as well just the other day, so they'll be coming through soon enough. The other thing that came through the post as well, one of the other things, this is something I've been waiting for a long time now. This is Scarface 1920, board game by Red Zen Games. I remember when this first came out. Look at the size of this beast. This is the redone base game. I also got the Enforcers expansion, and I've got another expansion which is coming in a second line of shipping as well at some point. This is a game that I was interested in when it first came out, and then it quickly went out of production, but then they re-released it with the Enforcers expansion, and they've re-released the box set, and I think they've probably added quite a lot of new stuff in here as well. Now I'm going to say it was very expensive, but I think it's worth it, just going through the amount of stuff that's in here. A couple of people have asked about reviews of it. It's a game set in 1920s, obviously, Chicago, with 4 gangs during the Prohibition period. This may surprise you. I've always, ever since I was a nipper, I've always had an interest in the Prohibition period of America and the gangsters and things like that. Those Al Capone and all the others, and Elliot Ness and all those guys. I've always had an interest in it. It's something that I've never really wargamed. I actually wrote some rules called the Roaring Twenties years and years and years ago. I looked at them a couple of years ago, and they're trash. They're awful because I was just writing them with very little knowledge. Maybe one day I might go back to them, but I don't see there's much point when we've got What a Cowboy Gangster version out there. There's literally no point in me writing rules for something. But this is a board game. It's about control of areas in Chicago and setting up speakeasies and brothels and casinos and things, and all the illegal underground stuff that those gangsters got up to. I've not played it yet. I've just opened it up, popped all the stuff because I love popping, and had a look in here, and it's absolutely packed out with stuff. There is a solo mode, so I will play it at some point. My wife is currently away for work, so when she comes back, I'm looking forward to diving in this properly with her at some point. Huge board, and God, yeah, I mean, but I've been waiting for such a long time for it to come. I almost thought it wasn't coming at some point, but it did. It turned up, and I'm very chuffed that it did. The other thing that came, I mentioned it last week, Richard had actually sent out 2 copies of this to me, one which I'd bought and also one which was a review copy, so thank you very much for that, Richard. This arrived on the Sunday that my video came out, so I was bemoaning the fact it hadn't arrived. It arrived on Saturday, but I wasn't in. We were up in York, and then I didn't think it was going to get delivered until Monday, but then the Royal Mail delivered it on the Sunday, so that was very strange. I wasn't expecting that at all. So this came on Sunday, last Sunday, so I was able to put together the flip through video, which a lot of you have probably seen at this point. If not, go and check it out. It's on the rest of the channel. It's one of the more recent videos. Brilliant stuff. Really, really, really good. I'm going to come back to this in a second. But yeah, it's lovely to have the hard copy. I like PDFs, but because I read them for work, I can't really get on with them very well. I don't retain the information so well. But the other thing I got as well, released with the Far East Handbook, is the Jitra campaign. This is a pint-sized campaign, which I know Richard's been working on for the last few years. This is basically the first stop line, or attempted stop line, by the Indian Army against the Japanese incursions into Malaya. Up in the north of Malaya, needless to say, the Japanese basically just burst straight through, and this is going to be basically like a delaying action kind of campaign where the Indians are going to lose, but it's how well you lose, if that makes sense. Pretty much every campaign in Malaya is the same as that, to be perfectly honest. But I'm really looking forward to diving into this. Both Dex and I have said we're going to play this hopefully in the next few weeks. We're currently playing the Malaya campaign at the moment, the PSC, which we played on Thursday night, the 3rd scenario of. We're working our way through this. Now the original PSC had the rules written by Len Tracy, which are very good, but they're quite basic from a a jungle point of view, whereas we decided to go back and actually use the Far East handbook rules for the jungle, and also for the Japanese as well, and well for the Australians, although the Australians are reasonably, it's what you would expect from a European army pretty much. And I, as always, so far in this campaign, got my arse handed to me by Dex. It was a comedy of errors in many ways, really. I'd completely forgotten that not only had he'd got 3 infantry platoons, but he's also got 3 infantry sections, but he's also got a section of mortars. He deployed the mortars. He deployed 2 of his sections, and I completely and utterly forgot about his 3rd and final section. He pulled out another ruse. This is one of the things in the Far East Handbook. The Japanese have now got more ruses. In the old Malaya campaign rules, the Japanese ruses were basically you could move your jumping off point, or you could. I think they had like 2 ruses. In this, there's about 3 or 4 of them, and he got to use them. He turned his scouts into marksmen. He pushed forward a jumping off point right close up to one of my line of communication points, and also my jumping off point as well, so it was completely under threat. I was able just to bring in a mortar barrage on him, which pinned him in place, but at that point my casualties were starting to mount. And I just thought, again, valour is the better part of discretion, or is discretion better part of valour? Whichever it is, it was time to get literally the tits out of Dodge. So I just I pulled back at that point. And the thing is with the campaign, because the British platoon is quite small, it's only about, I think, 36 men at full strength anyway, so it's pretty small. Any casualties mount up, and in the Far East Handbook, the Japanese orders of battle have actually been increased. There were 13 men in a section in the old pint-sized campaign. In this, they're 14 men a section. So it's suddenly, facing up against 8 men of the British, or 9 men of the British section or Australian section. It's almost double the amount of men. So you do not want to get into hand-to-hand combat with the Japanese, and you certainly can't win a long-range firefight with them, simply because they will just absorb those hits. And I was just pouring fire into one of his sections, and they were taking it, and they're still there. He'd just broken off some men into a scout group. It was just everything was getting thrown at me, bar the kitchen sink, and I pulled out as much because I was just absolutely worried about what was going to happen next. Brilliant game, absolutely brilliant game. Absolutely frustrating dice rolls in many places. As I say, I pulled this mortar barrage in. I think it killed 1 man. I managed to get 3 rounds of firing out of it, and I think there was something like one or 2 men killed. I killed his lieutenant, and that was it. But the rest of them were just absolutely, they seem so to have charmed lives. It must be the look of the Irish on Dex's part. Brilliant game though, loved it, absolutely loved it. We're both saying how stressful it was, and Dex was saying, even as an attacker, he didn't feel like he was winning until basically it was like I threw in the towel. So it shows you again just how good Chain of Command is, how great a game. You really got to sit down and think about it. It's not your typical war game where everybody just piles into the centre and rolls dice. You really got to think about what you're doing. So yeah, brilliant game. Looking forward to the next one. We're going to be I think it's 6 scenarios in the Malay campaign, so we've got at least 3 more weeks of that, of the Australians getting battered. All I can think is I'm just trying to draw him back as far as I can into the jungle, so at least he's getting battered. So when I do perform a counter attack, it might go my way, but we'll see. Also, yeah, this week. Partisan, this will have come out just after Partisan will have finished, I think. So this will be about 5 o'clock on Sunday. Partisan finishes about 4 o'clock. I will be at Partisan. I'm going to film it. Obviously, I'm recording this on Friday. I intend to be on Partisan. Let's just say that. Obviously, things may change, but I'm intending to be at Partisan on Sunday. I'm going to be filming it, of course. Also grabbed quite a few interviews as well. Paul, my Patreon and chum down the club, has asked if I could do a specific interview, so I'm going to be seeking that out and hoping to do that, and hopefully I'll grab a few more. That video will be out later on down in the week. Depends on when I get it edited, but it'll probably be, I don't know, probably be Monday or Tuesday, I would have thought. Latest, hopefully Wednesday. Again, depends on what happens with everything else, with life and the usual things. So basically, that's it in a nutshell. That's been my Wargaming week this week. As always, check out if you're going to buy anything from Warlord, please do check out the link for affiliates down below. It doesn't cost you anything, it just puts a bit more money back into the channel, which I put back into making videos as always. And also don't forget, check out the Patreon and also channel memberships, and if you haven't, it will cost you nothing to subscribe for free, and you'll see all these videos as they come out. And I'll see you in the next Storm of Steel video.